Hello and welcome to week 3 of AC 4420 Corporate Tax Accounting. Remember that the contact information is up here with the name and the email address as well as the phone number. We also have office hours here on Tuesday at this number. You want to call into the number first and then we can go into screen share software as needed at that point. So I'd like to call in first and then use any screen share software to work through problems if we decide to do so at that time. These are not required, it's just time that is carved out. If you have questions at that time, it is in a question and answer format, not a lecture format. Going to scroll down to the current week we are in, which is week 3. We have the familiar format here with the objectives up top, then the topics and the lessons. Remember that we don't have the book here, so all the lessons will be here on the links. So we have the links here. The topics we're going to cover are tax incentives and business investment decisions. I'm going to put some information on depreciation and the 401 depreciation and the Section 179 deduction. We'll also talk about different types of retirement plans, which is one of the major deductions that small businesses have. And there's different formats that we could take in terms of a retirement plan. Most of us probably are familiar with a 401k. But there's some other options within a small business, and there's pros and cons, of course, to all those options as well. We're also going to talk about tax regulations governing affiliated entities. So what happens when you have a parent company or companies that have the same owner? How are we going to represent the taxes in those types of situations? So looking at the work we have to do, of course, everything from the discussion forums on down is what needs to get done. First, we have the discussion questions. We have to have at least 4 posts on the discussion questions. I would post more than 4 times. Remember that the discussion posts are worth 21% of the grade. 21% is a large part of the grade, so you want that to work for you and not against you. And so in order to do that, I would make sure to pick up at least 4, but I would pick up more than that if possible. If you copy and paste anything from Google, that's okay, but make sure to reference it. Otherwise, it'd be plagiarizing. And so you just want to make sure to references. And if you want to pick full credit up on any individual post of that format, then I would also paraphrase it in your own words and or critique it in some way. Do you agree with what you found or not? Remember that everything you find may not be completely accurate, of course, when we're just searching on a Google search on the web. So a critique as to whether you agree with what's there or not is probably even better than paraphrasing what's there. Okay, then we got the assignments and the homework. These are going to be in a paper format again. I do want to kind of format the paper and just practice format it in APA format, meaning I want to have an introductory paragraph, a body paragraph, which could have 1 to 3 paragraphs at least, in the body usually, and then the conclusion. And the introductory paragraph, I'd like to format it kind of like a research paper or an informational type paper where we're basically going to say the conclusion, take a position. This is what we think, about this. I mean, if we're talking about do we agree that do we think the tax rates are too high or too low? We want to make a specific assertion at the beginning and not kind of tell the story of how our research went. What we want to do is say, here's what the result of our research was. We think the tax rates are too high or too low, or there's some variation, or we need to do something completely different. Whatever the assertion is at the result of the research paper, you want to have up top and then back it up with the data. So oftentimes, of course, when you create the research paper, you may not know what that first line is going to be. You may have that first introductory paragraph and you say what you think it's going to be. You might think it's going to be this, and then you research in terms of researching, and in the process of researching, very often you're going to want to rework your introductory paragraph and refine it down to what you actually found in the research and then have it very specific. So by the end, I would try to make a very specific claim at the beginning or argument that you're going to persuade on, back it up with the body of the paper, then conclude basically recapping, but in a different way, of course, what the original claim was. And then we're going to have the midterm, so remember to take the quiz, the midterm in this case, by Sunday. It is going to be worth more than the quizzes, so you want to make sure to pick that up. If there's any problems with getting the quiz in, then let me know, and we take that on a case-by-case basis. Other than that, if you have a time constraint, make sure to take the midterm, and we do have a little bit more leeway on the assignments and homework. So if you run into a time constraint, do the midterm, and then pick up the homework late if at that time, and you'll lose some points for late work. but we can at least still pick them up. We're going to take a look at the grade book over here on the left-hand side, green icon. So grade book, everything is going to be due, of course, on Sunday. So for example, week 2, everything is due on Sunday. I have until Tuesday following the close of the week to get everything populated. So you're going to want to check the grade book on Tuesday around noon, if not before, and see that everything has been populated. It might take a little bit more time because of a holiday on Monday, so it might be a little bit more time to get in there on Tuesday, but it'll be in there by Tuesday. And so that means that the week 2 discussion will go from a dash to 100% because everybody's shooting for 100 hopefully on that. The assignments, same thing. Quizzes will populate automatically when you pick that up, and we have the homework, which should be the same thing. If, for example, we had not done the week 1 homework, but we did it within week 2, then that should change from a 0 to whatever got picked up in week 2. If there's any questions on that at that time, then let me know after Tuesday if there's any discrepancies. And the same thing will happen going forward for week 3. So anything done in week 3, whether it be current work within week 3 or late work done within week 3, will then be picked up after the close of week 3 on Sunday. The close is on Sunday, and then I have until Tuesday to pick up that work. So anything that's completed in week 3 will be graded by Tuesday following the close of week 3 on Sunday. So that's going to be the process, and so that's going to be it. So have a great week 3.